Most parents believe that a baby who knows their ABCs is a baby who is ahead. Flash the cards early enough, sing the song often enough, and you are giving your child a head start. That belief feels so logical, so loving, so obviously right, that almost no one stops to question it. But what if the most well-intentioned thing millions of parents do every single day is quietly working against the very brain development they are trying to protect? Picture this. You are sitting on the floor with your 11-month-old. You hold up a bright card. You say, A. You say it again. Your baby stares at you, wide-eyed, attentive, seemingly engaged. You feel it. That warm, quiet pride. You are teaching your child. You are being a good parent. What you cannot see, what no one ever told you, is what is happening inside that tiny developing brain in that exact moment. Because developmental psychologists have spent decades studying precisely this. And what they have found does not match what the alphabet flashcard industry would have you believe. The truth is not that learning letters is bad. The truth is about timing. About what the brain is actually built to absorb before age 3. And about what gets quietly crowded out when we fill that window with the wrong kind of input, however well-meaning that input is. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what your baby's brain needs most right now, and it is not the alphabet. Here is what most parents are never told. The human brain does not develop in a straight line. It develops in windows. Critical periods where specific kinds of learning are not just easier, they are biologically prioritized. The brain is literally wiring itself for certain inputs during certain months. And before age 3, the window that is wide open, hungry, and urgently active is not the window for symbols. It is the window for something far more foundational. Researchers in developmental psychology call it serve and return learning. The back and forth exchange between a caregiver and a baby. The moment your baby babbles and you babble back. The moment they point at a dog and you say, "Yes, dog, look at his ears." That exchange, that tiny unremarkable moment you probably do not even register as teaching, is building the neural architecture that all future learning, including reading, will one day sit on top of. But here is where the gap lives. Most parents, with the very best intentions, have been handed a story that equates early academic exposure with early intelligence. The flashcard. The alphabet poster above the crib. The song on repeat. These things feel productive because they look like learning. They are visible, measurable, shareable. And so the quiet, invisible, irreplaceable work of relational learning gets undervalued, not out of neglect, but out of misinformation. Developmental psychologists have found that when babies are repeatedly exposed to abstract symbol recognition, letters, numbers, shapes as symbols, before their brain has built the relational and emotional scaffolding to support it, the brain does not simply ignore what it cannot yet use. It processes it as low-value noise. And in doing so, it draws attention and energy away from the connections it is desperately trying to make right now. The cost is not dramatic. You will not see it today. But researchers who study early cognitive development describe it as a slow narrowing, a subtle closing of doors that did not need to close yet. And most parents never know it happened. So what should you be teaching your baby before age 3 instead of the alphabet? Developmental psychologists are remarkably consistent on this. And once you see it, you will recognize it everywhere, in your daily routines, in your ordinary moments, in the interactions you may have been rushing past on your way to the next flashcard. Sign 1. Emotional vocabulary immersion. Before your baby can read a word, they need to feel the world in words. Researchers have found that babies whose caregivers narrate emotional experiences. "You seem frustrated, that toy keeps rolling away." Or, "You lit up when Daddy walked in, you were so happy to see him." Develop significantly richer neural pathways for language comprehension than babies who are exposed to label-based learning. The alphabet gives your baby 26 symbols. Emotional narration gives your baby a living, breathing map of human experience. One of these builds a reader. The other builds a mind. Sign 2. Open-ended sensory exploration. When your baby touches the rough bark of a tree, squeezes a soft piece of bread, or listens to rain hitting a window, and you are there, present, describing it. Their brain is building what researchers call sensory-linguistic integration. The ability to connect physical experience to language. This is the biological predecessor to reading comprehension. Not letter recognition. Texture. Sound. Smell. The alphabet is abstract. The world is concrete. And the concrete always comes first. Sign 3. The power of unstructured narrative. When you tell your baby what is happening around them in full, flowing sentences, not quizzing, not drilling, just talking, you are doing something that no flashcard can replicate. Researchers in early language acquisition have found that the sheer volume of conversational words a child hears before age 3 is one of the strongest predictors of literacy at age 7. Not ABC knowledge. Word exposure. Story. Rhythm. The music of language itself. Stop here for a moment. Think about what you just read. The things that build your baby's brain most powerfully before age 3 are not products. They are not purchasable. They are the bark on the tree during your afternoon walk. They are the sentence you say out loud when you notice your baby's face change. They are the story you tell while you are changing a nappy, not because it is educational, but because you are there and your baby is there, and that is enough. How often do we scroll past those moments looking for something that feels more like teaching? Sign 4. Relational contingency. This is the serve and return dynamic researchers return to again and again. When your baby makes a sound and you respond, not with a lesson, but with genuine engagement, you are reinforcing the foundational belief that communication works. That the world responds to them. That their voice has power. Developmental psychologists have found that this single experience, repeated thousands of times in the first 3 years, is more predictive of a child's academic confidence at school age than any early literacy program studied to date. Sign 5. The slow moment. This one is almost countercultural. Researchers have found that babies who experience regular periods of quiet, unstimulated time, no screens, no songs, no flashcards, develop stronger self-directed attention spans. The brain, when not flooded with input, begins to generate its own curiosity. It starts to reach. And that reaching, that internal hunger to explore, is the beginning of every great learner your baby could become. The alphabet can wait. This cannot. There is something nobody tells you when you become a parent. That the pressure to do more, teach more, start earlier, it does not come from selfishness. It comes from love. A fierce, protective, almost desperate love that wants to give your child every possible advantage before the world even gets a chance to challenge them. You held up those flashcards because you care. You sang that alphabet song on repeat because you were trying. And that trying matters more than any research paper could ever measure. But here is what developmental psychology is gently, persistently asking us to consider. What if the most powerful thing you can give your baby is not a lesson, but a presence? What if the moments you worried were too ordinary, the bath time commentary, the walk where you named every cloud, the 5 minutes you spent just watching your baby discover their own fingers, were not the gaps between the real parenting, but the actual thing itself? Researchers who dedicate their careers to the first 3 years of life describe this window not as a race, but as a garden. And gardens do not grow faster when you pull at the stems. They grow when the conditions are right. When the soil is rich. When there is light and water and time. Your voice is the light. Your responsiveness is the water. And your willingness to slow down, to be in the moment without an agenda, that is the soil everything else will grow from. Your baby does not need you to be their teacher right now. They need you to be their world. The first face that reflects them back to themselves. The first voice that tells them the world is safe and interesting and full of things worth paying attention to. That is not a small thing. That is everything. The alphabet will come. It will come easily, naturally, joyfully, when the brain is ready to receive it. And it will be built on a foundation so rich, so deep, so carefully laid by you in these early ordinary moments, that no flashcard could ever compete with it. You were already doing the most important work. You just needed someone to tell you. This is what it looks like to raise a mind. So here is your one thing for today. Put the flashcards away, not forever, just for now, and replace that time with 5 minutes of narrated exploration. Pick up something from around your home. A lemon. A wooden spoon. A handful of dry pasta. Hand it to your baby and just talk. Describe what you see. What it feels like. What it reminds you of. Do not quiz. Do not test. Just share the world with them like you are both discovering it for the first time. Because in many ways you are. That is it. 5 minutes. No product required. No special training. Just you, your baby, and the extraordinary, ordinary world around you. If this video shifted something for you, if it made you see one daily moment a little differently, then it did exactly what it was meant to do. There is so much more on this channel about what is really happening inside your baby's developing mind, and how the simplest moments you share together are shaping who they are becoming. Subscribe so you never miss it. Your baby's brain is building itself right now. Be there for it.